Okay, let's see. Is this thing on? Check, 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 check. If it's on, that just annoyed the tar out of you. Sorry about that. All right, let's see. Let's make sure all these other things are working. Is Facebook working? Eastern Shore Broadcasting. Dun, 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 dun. And somebody decides they're going to call me right now. Oh, sorry. Just timing is just not good. Okay, there we go. Facebook is working. We'll do a test comment. Testing 1, 2, 3. Let's see if that pops up on vMix Social. Who's here? Tommy's here. Gunnar's here. Chris, Rudy, John, Kenny. Welcome. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. Otis. Otis is here from Texas. Daniel was here earlier. Clint was here earlier. They might still be hanging around. Bill. Bill, I owe you an email. And let's see, who else? Jim. Welcome, Jim. Glad to have you. I see I have a friend request from you. Thank you very much. I'll reply to that. Frank said he got his bag that he won. Tom, not to complain, but I was kind of hoping you were kidding about the COD thing. What? What? There shouldn't have been any fees on that. I said that's CS sucker UPS paid in advance. Chris says it pays to have his audio turned on. Chris, I understand. I understand. I do. Oh, Herman's here. Welcome, Herman. Still getting over my cough from Vegas. I tell you what, that dry air out there just wrecked me. Scott's here. Hey, Scott. Scott's from Colorado where the air is dry. Martin Stuckey's in Switzerland. Hello, Martin. We put or sent Martin a bunch of PTZ cams that he put in the rafters of the venue where they do curling. It's so cool. All right. Daniel's still here. All right, there you go. Ron had to leave for a phone call, but he's back now. Good. Ron, you and I need to chat. Neil's here. Neil is the, I won't say lucky, but how about blessed winner of the church giveaway. And he and I are going to be talking tomorrow about the best ways to install the PC and the cameras and the X keys and all that stuff at his place. Yep. And thanks in part to Gunnar and others, but mostly to Tim at vMix for helping me out with the project that I wanted to do with the GT title designer. So there you go. Oh, we got 7 seconds until the show starts, so we better get moving. Better get moving. What was I gonna say? Something I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I know what it is. So you'll know about this when it happens. Let me just turn that off for just a second. Turn that off for just a second. There we go. When we get to the part of the show where I do the GT title designer, right now I'm over in the control area. And I'm going to head over to the studio area in just a second to be able to, do I have a studio area shot? Yeah, there's a studio area shot. Studio area is not very fancy. It's just waiting for me. You can see all the stuff we don't use piled into the corners. But we'll do most of the show there, or at least the beginnings of the show there. And then we'll move back here for the demo because I can't do it all from over there. It was just too much. Excuse me. Oh, yawn cam. Okay. So we have all of that will work to our advantage. Oh, you know, one thing I want to do, I've got a screen capture of the GT Title Designer. I need to find that so that I can make that part of the show. There it is. And I also want to, if you ever do any kind of screen captures of stuff that has text in it in vMix, you want to make sure you go back to that input, go to the General tab, and click the Sharpen tab. And that'll help crisp up the text a little bit so it's easier for folks to read. Just a little tip from the wild side. Yeah. Al Bunt's here. Al Bunt, yeah, we are fixing to work on a PC. For him, we've got one on the workbench right now, and Al's is up next for Good Shepherd Lutheran Church in Wisconsin, Rapids, Wisconsin. Yes, sirree. It's going to be good. Sean needs to talk to me about a possible church setup. Okay, that's good. I like that. Why is that not coming in? Let's see. Let's go back to vMix Social. We should be picking up the feed from Facebook. Let's turn it off and turn it back on again. Nope. Let's go into Facebook and check again. Some reason we're not getting the Facebook feed in vMix Social. And I think that may be because it doesn't really pick it up until there's actually some activity there. Let's try again on the password. Excuse me, sorry. Should have done this a few minutes ago. The phone number you've entered doesn't match any account. Well, that's crazy. Let's try the email address. There you go. Now it's going to want a code. I tell you what, if I were a crook, I'd be unhappy with all this stuff that I have to go through. I'm already unhappy with it. I just thought I'd let you know that 800869 is my code generator today, but by the time I tell you about that, there'll be another one. Okay, so let's get that done. Logging into vMix Social, find posts. Yep. Streaming Idiots Live. Let's see if this is it. Yeah, there we go. Did we get a few? Let's see what we got. Yep, there we go. Okay. All right, so Sean, now I've got you on the big board over here. Right there. Yours has actually already passed by, but at least it gave me a chance to realize that I didn't have you on there. All right, so there we go. Oh, Rich is going to be in Pensacola, Florida this weekend, and Daytona Beach, Florida next weekend. If you're near there, feel free to stop by. Well, there you go, guys. For those of you in the Pensacola area, RJ, you're close to Pensacola. Ken, you're close to Pensacola. Jan says, the wife and I have arrived. Tom, you may now proceed with the show. Well, I was hoping that meant you arrived here. We're going to take the show in person. All right. Well, then let's go. Oh, Kyle's here. Hey, Kyle. Didn't see you slip in. Okay. So let's get the show going here. We're a few minutes late, but you know, it's not like the network's complaining. All right. Can you hear the siren? I can. I think they're going to go right by here. Here they come. And there they go. Okay, the Doppler effect will take place. All right, so another swig of lemonade. Oh, goodness. And let's move over to the other spot. And we'll cut to that cam for a second. so you can watch the move. And I'll turn off this mic, turn on that mic. Okay. How about that? Looks like it's supposed to be here, doesn't it? All right, what are we going to do? We're going to do this. We'll do that. And we'll bring the stool over a little closer. Oh, yeah, that's going to work out perfectly. You know, if you had gone to NAB, you could have gotten an official vMix pen. It's worth the trip right there. Worth the trip right there. Oh my goodness. Can't have that. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. The deal was that the phone was set on vibrate. Uh-oh. What did I do? Did I hit a button? Well, let's hit another button. Let's go here. There we go. Gee whiz. Okay. And let's put up that. The lemonade, we were just drinking the lemonade. Nick, sorry about that. Okay. All right. So, folks, let's get started on this show here. And get one last cough in, and then fasten your seat belts. Here we go. Well, hello and welcome. As you can tell, the music didn't work. I meant to fix that. Doggone it. Hey, I'm Tom Sinclair, as you can tell from the lower third down there. And this is Streaming Idiots. And you probably already realized that, or else you wouldn't be here. This is the weekly web show where we talk about all things live streaming. Well, not all things, but some things live streaming. You know, the live streaming world has really blown up, and there's no way to talk about everything live streaming because it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where you kind of have to pick the area that you're going to become really, really competent in and then go for the best you can with everything else. Today's show, we're going to talk about the new GT title designer that's in vMix 22. It comes free with vMix 22. It does animated graphics. It's really cool. I've been playing with it for the last couple of days with some help from Gunnar and Tim and others. Appreciate that a great deal. And I wanted to talk about one particular style of graphic that I'm seeing a lot on television, regular old terrestrial TV, as it were. And I thought, you know, I wonder if vMix Title Designer, GT Title Designer, can do that. And I played with it, and I couldn't figure it out. And so I found it on Pond 5, an example of what I was talking about, posted it in the Streaming Idiots group, and Gunnar and some other folks responded. And then Tim, bless his heart, from vMix, responded to me by email and said, okay, Tom, here's how you do it. So we'll walk through that today, and we'll do that in just a minute. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I did want to have a couple of notes that I wanted to cover with you, just to kind of keep you in the know. I'm generally the last one to hear anyway. So if you hear it from me, you know you're way at the end of the chain. But vMix has made another update to vMix 22. Again, they fixed some minor bugs that somebody reported. And then one of the things I love about vMix is, even if it's a minor bug, even if it only affects a couple of people, vMix really, Martin and the crew at vMix really do take that seriously and really do endeavor to make sure that folks get what they paid for. And that's one of the things I love about that company and how they do business. I want to announce that we have started a mentorship program, in the Streaming Idiots Facebook group. If you're not a member of the Streaming Idiots Facebook group, you need to join. You need to join soon. Golly gee, don't forget to answer all the questions or you won't get in. But if you're interested in either becoming a mentor or needing some help and needing a mentor to help you, take a look at that. It's in the vMix, it's in the Streaming Idiots Facebook group, and you can sign up for that. I'm one of the mentors, and some of the other folks that I trust are too. And so you can come in and just kind of pick and choose who you'd like to learn from. Big shout out again to Neil Johnson and the folks at the River of Life Church in Hastings, Minnesota, as the selectees, the recipients, the winners. And winners is not quite really the best term, but let's say the ones that were selected to receive the church giveaway PC that we built here in the Eastern Shore Broadcasting Studios, and coupled with some PTZ optics cameras and a Magewell capture card and vMix, of course, and the X-Keys, XK80, and all of that has arrived safely in Hastings, Minnesota, long trek across the country. And Neil and I will be working together tomorrow to get all that set up and ready to go. And who knows, they may be live streaming this Sunday. We'll see. They've actually done some setup on it. You know, you get a toy in the mail. You can't just let it sit there until somebody tells you it's okay to open it, can you? No, you've got to rip it open and try it and test it. And that's the best way to learn. It really is. You remember that learning the best, rather than somebody saying, okay, do this and do this and do this. Discovery is always the best, I think. One other piece of news, that Facebook goes with the S today. Remember? Today's S Day on Facebook. That is, if you're a Facebook live streamer, you can't do RTMP anymore. As of today, you have to do RTMPS. What does that mean? Well, that means that you got to fill in this little blank up here. Let's see if we've got a bigger picture of it. And say that you're using a secure connection. It's not anything you have to configure. It might require a port change, but for the most part, it's just a matter of filling out that form the way you normally do when you would start a live stream on Facebook. Not a big deal. I've been doing it for weeks, and if I can do it, you know it's not a big deal. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Aaron Ferris. Aaron's probably going, what did I do? Why is he shouting out to me? Well, Aaron posted in the Streaming Idiots group about 15 hours ago a question. And the last time I looked, he had 49 responses to his question. And the question was I thought a really interesting one, is anybody recording or streaming funerals? And a lot of people have responded. And as I thought back, I said, oh boy, I wish I'd had some experience with that. And then I realized that the very first streaming experience I had at my church was streaming the funeral of a good friend's husband. He wasn't a member of the church, but we had his funeral there at the church, and it was a really powerful moment for her family that could not come because they were far, far away. And what a tremendous service to those folks that are in a grieving mode, that have lost a loved one, and that they know that not all the family is going to be able to gather as quickly as perhaps as they need to, so that the family at least can have a sense that they were there, and the loved ones that are there present can have a sense that there's a greater group outside of them that's supporting and encouraging them and praying for them, but just from a distance. So if that ever comes across your path, I really commend it to you, and hope you'll take an opportunity to do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Anything that they get is probably going to be better than what they may have had otherwise, which would have been nothing. So I encourage you to do that, and thank you to Aaron for bringing that subject up. Yep, that's pretty much all my notes. Oh yeah, one thing, least I forget. Let's don't forget. This whole show is an infomercial for my company, Eastern Shore Broadcasting. That's right. If you go to easternshorebroadcasting.com, then we've got a store there where you can get Magewell cards and X-Keys and PTZ optics cameras and Uon cards and vMix. Yeah, you can even buy your vMix license there. And you can find out about the streaming PCs that we build, like the ones that we built for River of Life. River of Life, I was going to say Community Church, but it's River of Life Church in Hastings, like the one we're going to build probably starting next week for Al at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. We would love to build something for you. If you feel like it's beyond you, or you just need the encouragement to have somebody else lay hands on this stuff so that you know it's right, and you'd like a warranty and tech support too, we are the ones that you want to come to for that. So by all means, Eastern Shore Broadcasting, shoot me, look me up, and I'd be happy to help you. All right, now let's talk about GT Title Designer. That's what we all came here for. Enough of this other nonsense, but at least we got through it. One note that you need to know, because I don't want you any more disappointed than you're going to be already. GT Title Designer, the standalone software that comes with vMix now, is only will allow you to design custom titles if you have vMix 4K or vMix Pro. Now, I take that back. You can design them, you just can't use them. You can design them in vMix Title Designer, and you can save them, and you can play with them in vMix Title Designer, but you can't import them into vMix. They just won't work if you have the HD edition or lower. So the demo that I'm going to start in just a minute and show you is really going to be for those of you that have the 4K or the Pro editions, or maybe those of you that have the HD edition is like, okay, what's in it for me to upgrade to the Pro or to the 4K editions? And by the way, you can do that at, that's right, easternshorebroadcasting.com if you want to upgrade. If you go to vMix and upgrade, that's great, but you won't get personal support from me and our team of active supporters here at Eastern Shore Broadcasting. Okay, enough commercial stuff. In order to show you this, I have to go back over to the control PC. So allow me to make the trek across the room on that. And I don't think I have, yeah, I can't go back to that cam, so we'll just have to go back to, it's just gonna have to stay on this cam for a sec while I walk across the room. So don't go anywhere. I'm just walking across the room. It's not gonna take me that long. You know, if you have to go get a soda, go ahead, but don't forget to come back. All right, just 1 minute. See, I'm practically there already. Practically there. Don't go get that soda after all. Here we go. Okay, so we've got the pre-show format here for just a second, and we'll use that for just a second. Tommy, don't go anywhere else. It's too late. You missed your chance. Let's get the right mic on. There we go. There we go. That's better. So we're back here. What I want to do is show you the vMix desktop. Where did I put it? It's here somewhere. There we go. So let's put me down here where I'm kind of out of the way. And what I've done is I have basically imported into, not imported, I've opened a vMix GT zip file. That's the extension, GT zip. And that basically takes the place of the XMLA of the vMix format that they were using previously. And let me show you what this one does real quickly. Can you see my mouse? I don't think you can see my mouse. But right up there at the very top, oop, my finger just goes right off the screen. At the very top is a green triangle, and you can see it kind of change. There are two of them. The one on the left will play what happens when you start the animation, and the one on the right will do the full animation in and out. So we're just going to start the animation, and we're going to see very quickly it just starts in the middle and reveals itself from that. What you may or may not be able to see is that right over here on the very ends of the gray box is a white bar, a white line. And so we're going to build something like that now. And hopefully, hold on one second. Let's do something else here. I want to just move your comments where I can see them. So, XAML, thank you, John. That's what I was searching for. Okay, so there we go. And thank to Jan and Rich for reminding me to switch my mic. There we go. So we're all on the same page. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go up into the top right-hand corner. And I don't know if you can see the little plus bar that's kind of flashing a little bit. That allows me to add a layer. So I'm going to plus that, and you can see a new layer got added there. It is locked, so I'm going to left click it to unlock it, and then I'm going to come out here and just drag it down. And I don't really need a layer that's that big. What I want to do is make it, yeah, about that big. And then what I'd really like to do is bump it up against the center. And can you see the little green line that appears when I hit the center? Right there, green line, center, right there. That green line disappears when I let go of the mouse. And then I'm going to right-click this. I'm going to copy it, and then right-click it again and paste it, and then take the second one, the new one, and drag it over and line it up on the center. So now I have two layers side by side, layer 1 and layer 2. Very good. Okay, and this is the secret to the reveal. I found this out by kind of watching Tim's down here as this one reveals. Basically, the line moves from one side of the layer to the other side. So let's create a line. And to create a line, we're actually going to create a rectangle. So if you look over on the left-hand side, you can see the little rectangle box that's sort of flashing gray. That's really just me moving the cursor over it and then moving it back again. So I'm gonna start with a rectangle, and we'll bring it out here and we'll just draw it. And it's a red rectangle. I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and just leave it red so that it's easy to see. This is not where I want it to end up, though. I want it to end up here, right there. And in order to do that, I have to animate it. And the way I animate it is I go up to the toolbar up here. I've got home and styles and formats and effects and animations. And so right now my red bar, what we call it, is the active, yeah, you can see over here, right there, that blue one right there is the active object, we'll call it. And what we want it to do is we want it to fly in from the left. You can see the buttons here allow us to go diagonally from the center, from the left. So we're going to take from the left, and we'll take a duration of half a second and a delay of 0.2. We'll use that. And let's just test it and see if it does what we want it to do. So there we go. So it delays for 0.2 of a second, and then it flies in from the left and stops at the right side. So let's copy that guy. So we'll copy him. We'll come back to layer 1, and we'll paste him in layer 1, and then drag him out to the same position. Now, obviously, if I was doing this for perfection points, I would actually line it up by the number of pixels so that it equaled the one over here on the right. But, okay, so we're going to select that rectangle. It's going to fly. It's going to fly from the other direction. And let's see if we got it right. So they start in the middle, and they fly out to the sides. How about that? That's pretty cool. And you think that you could also make them shoot up from the top, from the bottom, and then split apart and explode and spin around. But never mind about the explode and spin around. All right, so we've got that point there where our two bars are popping across. So now we want to take we want to produce the headline. You can see there's a headline and a description down here. And we can cheat and we can just drag this one up. But whoops, where'd it go? Well, it has a colored box behind it. So we're going to add another layer. And in that layer, we're going to add another rectangle. Well, hold on. Let's go back over here and unlock that layer. There we go. And let's make that layer the same size as our opened box. So we're going to be just inside the red line on the right, just inside the red line on the left. And then inside that layer, we're going to add a rectangle. And for right now, we'll just add a red rectangle. Oh no, let's change the color. Let's change the color just to blue for the sake of argument so that we can see it. And the animation is going to be a reveal. Now we want the delay, well, let's just leave the delay on 0 and the duration on 1 and see what happens. But we want it to come on the x-axis. That is, it opens like this. Instead of opening like that, it opens like this. So let's try it and see if it does what I think it's going to do. So there we go. Now you notice it's a little slower than our red bars. So we're going to increase the delay, 0.2, and decrease the duration, 0.5. And let's see if that makes it match with the red bars. So there we go. Now it has the appearance as if the red bars are dragging this blue banner open. Okay, and we can come back in and we can tighten up our blue rectangle so that it's a little closer to the edges so that it gives us that effect of it's really all one piece. Obviously, I'm doing it in different colors so that you can see it more easily. All right, so let's add within layer 3, we're going to add some text. So we'll come over here to our text symbol. And we don't want to use this down at the bottom. That's for tickers. Don't want to use this one right here. That's 3D. Did I forget to turn my mic back on? Check, 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 check. Is this thing on? Okay. Somebody said crickets, and I thought, oh my goodness, I've forgotten to turn my mic on again. All right, so anyway, so we've got ABCs, and we'll come out here. And we'll just create a text block. And we'll come into our text and let's make our text. Where's the format? Actually, no, it's home. There we go. And so let's center the text. We'll come up here and center it. Let's change the color of the text. Let's make it white. Let's make it just a little bit bigger. So we'll go to 48 and we'll open it up a little bit and we'll center it top to bottom and let's go ahead and bold it. There we go. And so now as we have text in there, we want our text to have an animation and we want it to also do a reveal. Let's go ahead and put in the same numbers that we had before, 0.2. and 0.5, and let's see how this does. Oh, and we want it to reveal on the x-axis. So we'll try that. There we go. Now, since it's short text, it happens pretty quickly. Now, if we were to make it go on the y-axis, let's see if we can tell the difference there. Yeah, you can almost tell that it's revealing top to bottom instead of left to right. And if we did both, then it would sort of appear out of the middle. You can play with that one a little bit on your own. But we're going to do on the x-axis because that's what we wanted to end up with. And so now we have a graphic that will reveal with red bars on the end of it, a blue background, and white text in the middle. In order to be able to do something with this, we have to save it. And we're going to go ahead and save it and leave Tim's headline and description down here. So let's go into save. And oops, we don't want to, oh, well, we did, we sort of saved it. So that's what it's going to be called. All right, so let's bring that into vMix. And so you can't see this, but I'm going to add an input. I'm going to go to title. If I go to recent, is recent that? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And then I'll come back to the main shot here. Whoops, I'm not in that main shot, am I? Let's go to the pre-shot. There we go. And this is going to look funky, but let's go ahead and just overlay it here. And there it is. I can right-click it in the title editor, and I can go ahead and edit some text. There we go. Let's go ahead and make it as accurate as possible. There we go. And we haven't, where are you? There you are. Okay. We haven't really figured out how to get rid of this thing yet. If we click the overlay button, it's just going to disappear because we haven't told it how to get out. So boom, it just goes. Now you notice the one down there. Let's look again. Was that too fast for you? It went back together. That mine just disappeared. So let's go back to the drawing board right here and see if we can't get it to disappear. Now, one thing that's really helpful in this is that right up there. Let's see if I can make it flash or do something. Yeah, you can see right up there. All those little buttons. That's the storyboard. And one of the pieces of the storyboard brings up a window that you can't see. You can't see it because it's a different window and you can't see it. What we need to do is do a screen capture of that whole. Hang on a second. I did a window capture of the GT Title Designer, but really what I need to do is go ahead and capture the whole display. Yeah, there we go. You're going to lose me, but that's okay. So there we go. That's the window. And in that window, let me sharpen this input real quickly. Sharpen. There we go. That'll help you see it. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 different transitions. Some of them are Tim's, some of them are mine, but you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 transition out animations. And so let's go ahead and add some transition out animations to our system. Now, let's see what we can do here. Let's go down to Tim's headline, since that's selected. Yeah, headline. And we'll look at the animation transition in. There's no transition out. There's none. Okay, that's not a good example. Let's look at that rectangle. Yeah, there we go. The transition out has a reveal where it goes to the center, and the transition in has a reveal where it goes from the center. So let's play that and see. Yeah. So we'll use the other button to play it in and out. All right, so let's see if we can't make this guy do the same thing. So we'll start with the layer that has the rectangle in it and the text block. That's going to be this layer right here. And the text block and the rectangle. So let's make the rectangle on transition out. It's going to reveal. And it'll be a reverse maybe on an x-axis. Let's see if that works. No. Let's take out the reverse and see if that does it. Yeah, there we go. Now we're on to something right there. So let's put in a duration of a ½ second. We'll do a 0.2 delay since we seem to be using that pretty well on there. And Now we'll come down to the text, and we'll do the same thing for the text. On transition out, it's going to be a reveal. Duration of ½ second. Delay of 0.2. Oops, no, don't have a 0.2 there, so we'll have to type it in. And we'll make it on the x-axis. So let's test it. Okay. Now let's do our end blocks. And where is it? Oh yeah, right there. That's going to be this one right here. So we'll have a transition out. The transition in is a fly. So we'll make the transition out a fly with a delay of 0.2, a duration of 0.5. And let's see, the transition in is on the left, and the transition out is also on the left. Let's see if that works. So we're watching this red bar right here. Yep, there we go. So let's go ahead and do the other red bar, this rectangle right here, which is that one right there. And we'll have a fly with a duration of 0.2, excuse me, a delay of 0.2 and a duration of 0.5. And let's see, transition in, it starts on the right side. So let's transition out and do the right side also, and we'll see if we've got, there we go. So let's save this again. And we'll go back into vMix. And we'll go pop up the post show. Let's refresh. Make sure this guy is the latest, greatest. I don't know if vMix will automatically populate it. We're going to browse for it. There it is. Okay. So this is, let's see, where is it? Yep. This is what it looks like. And we'll go ahead and put it over this graphic. So there it is. And then we'll make it go away. There we go. How about that? It worked. You're like, Tom, you're not supposed to be so surprised. Now, we can do the same thing and make it go both ways. But I was looking, where was I looking? What was it that caught my attention on this? I was watching baseball maybe over the weekend. Oh, no, I know what it was. I was watching the NFL draft. And in the NFL draft, they had a lot of car commercials and other kinds of, maybe beer commercials, the kinds of things that football people tend to buy and watch and use. Anyway, I noticed a number of the commercials were using that sort of spreader bar kind of concept to reveal text, and thought, that would be really cool if vMix Title Designer, the GT Title Designer, would do that. And I kind of looked through the tutorials, and I didn't really see anything that looked like that. And so I thought, okay, well, doggone it, there's got to be a way to do it. And I am not a title designer person. I mean, I'm not a graphics person, as you can tell from these graphics all around here. I just make use of it. But it was really helpful when Gunnar came in and said he was able to do it, because that told me, okay, you could do it. And then when Tim sent me the example, I basically just deconstructed his example to figure out how he had done it. And the problem I was having was, how to make that line, call it a bar, if you will, how to make it move, but not start off the screen and move into the screen, or start in the screen and move off the screen. How do you constrict its location? And putting it in a, what do you call those things now? Oh, boy, I've forgotten. What do they call it? A layer. Putting it in a layer allowed us to constrict its movement from where it was and from the edge of the layer. And so it's been really fun to do that. And I'm looking forward to kind of going back and maybe rebuilding some of my titles using an approach like that. I think it's pretty neat, pretty neat. Anyway, I was hoping you would think it was pretty neat too. So let's see. Daniel says I couldn't quite get it to work in reverse for the out. Well, the key, Daniel, and I didn't try the reverse until live with you guys just now. The key was to use the exact same settings for the out on whatever the layer or the rectangle or the text or whatever that was, to use the exact same settings for the transition in and the transition out. Duration, delay, x-axis, center, reveal, whatever it was. And vMix is smart enough to realize, hey, it's a transition out, so it's going to go the opposite way of when it was when it came in. Kyle says reverse engineering is a good way to learn. Well, and in my case, it was the only way I could figure it out because I didn't have anybody to explain it to me. And I thought, I bet there's somebody else out there that would like to know how to do that. So consider yourselves explained to. But if you have any questions about it, just shoot me a note. Gunnar is a star, absolutely, and Tim is a star. It's really kind of funny. I remember talking with Tim when Martin was in the process of putting the finishing touches on vMix 22, and he was sort of fussing. Tim is so funny. He was sort of fussing because he had to make all these new titles, and he was having a hard time coming up with kind of creative things to do in the new titles, and so he was asking me for suggestions, and I'm like, you are definitely desperate if you're asking me for suggestions, because I am not the suggestion guy for things graphic. But it was a lot of fun. It was fun to watch the new ones as he built them, and to know. I mean, Martin designed the GT Title Designer from scratch. I mean, it wasn't like he took software that already existed and he was just modifying it, or something that he'd already written and he was making it better. I guess he was taking the old Title Designer, but this one had all the animation to it, which was totally new. And so, Tim being charged with making another, I'd say maybe another 100 titles, he got to know the software very, very well. And in fact, of course, that was part of the purpose is that he was sort of the alpha tester, to let Martin know, what he was doing was on the right track. It was working the way he thought. It wasn't working the way he thought. So it's going to be fun to get in and play with it. And, it's one of those tools that, right now, in some ways, it's really more like a map. The whole Title Designer is that I know how to get to the grocery store. I know one way to get to the grocery store. That is, I know one way to do this particular title, the one that I just showed you. But now, which is what I'm going to just call a split reveal for lack of a better term. But now I want to go in and figure out how to do a horizontal split reveal. I mean, this one was a vertical split. No, this one would be horizontal. Anyway, see, I'm already confused. Where's my map when I need it? And the more I do that, and one of the things I thought about doing, and I tried when I was warming up for this, but didn't do it right away, or didn't do it at all today, was to take, I don't have it around. Anyway, there is a graphic that I think I use on either the Eastern Shore Broadcasting page or maybe the Streaming Idiots page. It's where you can take a picture of yourself and turn it into a cartoon, kind of a cartoon picture, and take that and turn it into a cube, and then have the cube rotate, maybe all different directions, and have it fly in and land at the end of a graphic and then fly out when the graphic comes. And I played with it, and it didn't work the way I thought it should. Daniel, I feel your pain. I clicked one too many buttons, I'm sure, and it didn't do what I wanted. So I want to go back and have another go at it. But, GT Title Designer, in my opinion, appears to be one of those pieces of software that's only limited by your imagination. And if you can conceive it, then GT Title Designer can produce it. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of fun. Let's move into the post show now. Even though it looks like we're in the pre-show, we're really not. We're, for those of you just joining us, we are not in the pre-show. So we're going to stop the recording and see if I can make the jaws of death come out and turn this off, and we'll be right back. And we are right back in the post show. How about that? All right. So let's see. There was something here I wanted to do. Closing, the opening. Well, I don't know why the opening wasn't making any sound. We'll have to go back and play with that. Anyway, all right. So let's see. What kind of questions have you guys got about this? Gunnar says data change in and data change out is a fantastic feature. Also, well, I'm looking forward to seeing that one if it does. Daniel Wright says he's going to have some more time to play with it over the summer. Aha. Jim says it's similar to Adobe. Well, that may be where Martin got the inspiration. HJB says that he's in South River, New Jersey, and I know because he got his vMix updated with me at like 1 o'clock this morning. 2 o'clock for him. Gunnar says the thing is to make the layer small also. Okay. I think that's in response to something else somebody had said. Greg says the more custom titles are only on the most expensive options of vMix. Right, yes. vMix 4K and vMix Pro are the ones that can create and use custom titles. The HD and below have new animated titles that are there, the ones that I was telling you that Tim created, but they don't have the ability to use the custom made ones. So that a lot of the older or the original titles have now been made animated, and new animated titles have been added for vMix HD and below, and then for vMix 4K and above, the same is true, plus the ability to use a GT Title Designer and create new ones. Now, I think if you have vMix HD and below, you still get the vMix Title Designer, but it just, I mean, other than playing with it, you can't really use it in that sense, but it will give you a sense of it so that you can kind of test it, kind of taste it, and see if it's something that's worth your while. Excuse me. Ooh. Y'all are not boring me, I promise. But to see if it's something that you really want to upgrade to. And if you have HD and you want to upgrade to 4K, it's $350. If you want to go up to Pro, it's, I think, $850. But it makes sense to kind of go up incrementally. Claudier says, what is the difficult to put all the PowerPoint effects in GT Title Designer? Don't know. I'm not a PowerPoint guy, so I couldn't tell you on that. All right, let's see. Reverse engineering, that's right. And Greg says, I made it look so easy. Well, that's because I practiced at least once. All right. So it looks like that's other than the comment from Jan that says, maybe streaming funerals turns out to be a dead end. That's terrible. That is just really, that really is bad. That really is bad. Gunnar says, just as you did, Tom, small layers. Yeah, small layers, restrictive layers. I think that's probably a key to it's a building block. It's like Legos. It's a Lego block. Um, but I want to try the data's data change in and data change out. I think that's going to be pretty cool. And I mean, it's one of these tools like vMix Social. I until the last couple of months, and vMix Social has been out there for years now, but I didn't use vMix Social at all. And now I've figured out that I can use vMix Social definitely to my advantage, because I can take I'm using the chat from YouTube that's embedded on my website at easternshorebroadcasting.com. And I'm also, and I can bring that into vMix Social, and I can bring in the Facebook page, not a Facebook group, but the Facebook page, Eastern Shore Broadcasting. So any comments on the Facebook page, any comments in the YouTube chat, I can bring up here in front of me, well, what you guys see right there, which is vMix Social, which is a mixture of YouTube and Facebook, which I really think is pretty cool. Now, I can't post back to that. I'll have to go into YouTube and Facebook individually and post back. But it does give me the ability to see what you guys are saying, and I can always, respond verbally. Jan says, I think I expected too much from GT Titler. It's not MS Blend. Well, consider the price. I mean, for most of us, GT Title Designer cost us $60, unless we just purchased vMix last year, 2018. Then we got GT Title Designer for free. I don't know what Microsoft Blend costs. Maybe it's $60. Anybody know? Or is it one of those that's a subscription? And I remember having a conversation, I think it was with Tim last year, in Las Vegas at NAB about going the subscription route. And they just, my recollection, and forgive me, Tim, if I'm speaking incorrectly, but my recollection of what Tim said was that he thought it was a better value for his customers to have the permanent license than to have the subscription all the time, monthly subscription. And I guess you could say that with an annual update fee of $60, it is a subscription, but you don't have to do it. I mean, your software will still work even if you don't have that. Michael Graves asked, wasn't MS Blend free as well? Oh, well, there you go. Okay. Well, there you go. So, but does MS Blend just integrate into vMix as beautifully? I mean, part of what, Jim says Blend is open source. Thank you, Jim. Part of Visual Studio. Part of what Martin has done is he's taken this GT zip file, and he's figured out how to have it when you bring that into vMix as an input. He's figured out how to have that loaded into a certain part of the random access memory on the GPU, on the graphics card, so that it's ready immediately, and so that it does not impact performance of the rest of your PC. And so he's taken a piece of software, and he's made it integrate with a piece of hardware in a way that they operate the way that they're supposed to. Well, not the way they're supposed to, but in the way that they operate, where it takes advantage of the strengths of both things. And I know Jan and Jim and Michael are not trying to pick fights with me. They better not. But I think Martin's just and maybe used Blend sort of as a template or a model for GT title designer. Haven't heard that, so don't say that he has, because I don't know that that's true. But it is the kind of thing that he's made it work for vMix, as he did with vMix Social. You know, it's a standalone piece of software. It only works with vMix, but it certainly is very powerful, and a lot of folks are finding more and more uses for it, especially now that the GT title designer allows you so much more flexibility. So there you go. Greg says it's still one of the best bang for the buck tools anyway. I agree. Ron says he figured out his video call issue last night. That was a vMix call, a problem that I think Ron was having. He called me. What did you call me at like 10 o'clock or something like that? Maybe it wasn't that late, but I was done for the day. Sorry about that. I was toasted. All righty. Let's see. Michael Graves says vMix GT titler is easier to use. Graphics can get complicated quickly. I agree with that, especially the older you get. Jim Moline, you can actually go into your program files to vMix titles, open existing templates. It saves a lot of work by using existing as a base to start from and build on. Jim, that's a great point. I am going to commandeer that point, and I'm going to quote you. Actually, I'm going to say it as if it were me. No. And I've heard other people say that, but that's really great. So you can take the advantages of what Tim has built into titles, and again, this is 4K or Pro, and modify those. Jan says GT seems easy and fast to use. You just can't do the same level of manipulation as you can from XAML, but that's a completely different level. Well, we'll see. We will see. Martin has a habit of throwing something out there, seeing how people respond to it, getting some feedback. And Jerome, you made it. All right. And getting some feedback, and then making some tweaks and some changes. He's certainly done that with vMix Social. He's done that with vMix Instant Replay. He's done that with vMix Call. A lot of the big new features. It sometimes it takes a while for people to learn them well enough to be able to make comments that are really helpful. One of the tools that he has out there that came out in 2018, I guess it was vMix 20 maybe, was the color matching tool, and I haven't heard a lot of folks talking about it. I am not a big user of it because I don't tell anybody, but I don't know how to use it. I mean, I can make it do stuff, but I don't know what I'm trying to do. It's kind of like graphics. Yeah. So there you go. Martin Stuckey says, in Europe, the big broadcasters prefer simple graphics without a lot of animation, depending on the program. Sometimes less is more. Anyway, GT is a great tool. Good save there at the end. Yep, sometimes less is more. But sometimes we have to go through more to appreciate less. If we just had less, we would think, okay, it's less. But then we can build and build and build and build and build and build and build. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is way, 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 way too much. And so we come back to less, and we have greater appreciation for less in the second stage than we would of the first stage. Michael Graves says, color correction is awesome. Well, Michael Graves, perhaps you could teach me how to use it, or come on the show and we can talk about it one day. And you could, here's the thing. We could have a show where you pretend that I'm an idiot. Not much of a stretch, is it? And you can teach an idiot how to color correct his cameras. There's a great idea. There's a great idea. I mean, it's only great because I thought of it, but no, just teasing. Actually, not teasing, but that's okay. I'm getting a little punch drunk here. And it's time to wrap up. The shoe. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. And Michael Graves says, I could take you through the CC tool anytime. Well, I'm going to get back to you and we're going to set a date because I want to do it as part of a show. I mean, we can do it for me privately so I don't embarrass myself later. But I'd love to do it as part of the show because I think people would love to get it and understand it. Dan says MTV Unplugged is a good example. There you go. Irvin says, aha, everyone is here on YouTube. Yes, I think they are. Scott just found out that you can do the reveal at the layer level and it impacts the rectangle and the text in that layer. Good job, Scott. All right. Jan says, making something that is complex, simple to use is probably the biggest achievement you can hope for. Yeah. Dave says, great info today, Tom. Thanks. Jerome says, the color tool helps if you have two different model cameras. And that would be the scenario, Michael, that I'd love to set up is, maybe get a Canon and a Panny or a JVC or a Sony or something like that and try to match them up. Yeah, I don't have any of those in my studio. Yeah, I am a budget studio for sure. All right. Well, guys, we're going to call it a day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Marie, thank you for being the lady in the group, keeping us all on the straight and narrow. And not sure what we're doing next week, but it'll be fun and interesting, and you'll walk away saying, I know a little bit more than I did before. And that's the idea. So I'm going to let the stream run out a little bit here so it doesn't cut you right off. And we will catch you on the flip side. If I can help you in any way, you know how to get a hold of me. EasternShoreBroadcasting.com, the contact page, or go to Facebook. You can even leave a message here to say, hey, Tom, contact me. So there we go. And Cliff is here. All right, Cliff, you made it. All right, Cliff and I have a consult here in just a few minutes. Cliff is doing some amazing things, and he is about ready to explode his live streaming business, and we're going to follow him and cheer him on, and then when he makes it big, we're going to take pot shots at him. No, I'm just teasing. We're going to be cheering for him. There we go. Oh my gosh. They just turned an X key into a potential hacking tool. Sounds like another show. Bye, guys. We will see you on the flip side. Take care. Be good. All that other good stuff.